My name is Professor Michelle C. Davila, and I'm in the World Languages and Cultures Department. I've been teaching first year seminars since 2014. Yep.
Since it
And
started.
yeah, and last time I did it was fall. I do it almost every fall. So up to now, I've done Si Se Puede, the impact of Latinos in the United States. And for fall, I'm going to do the first time the Afro-Latinx identity and culture. So I'm excited about teaching a new one, finally. Yeah, but it's always about Latinos. So because my topic is about Latinx students, my goal for them is to feel proud about it and also to learn about the history of Latinos in the United States because these students, they really don't know about it. And one of the things that we do a lot is to create community among themselves, so they know there are people like them in the university, and also to get to know the university and what it provides. Also, it's one of the main goals of the course.
Um, all right. Well, so question for you. How do you engage in a first year seminar differently from your other classes?
Well, many of them are first generation students. So to me, it's a different type of group compared to other classes. And they need to be guided more through academic life. I'm always saying, contrary to what you expect or you think or it happened in high school, it's not the same here. I keep telling them that because you see their faces like, what? Or sometimes it makes me smile each time they go like this, and I go, yes. And they go, can I go to the restroom? And I tell them, you don't need to do that here, you know? So some of the rules they have to learn that it's not the same in the university. I also talk about things that I do not talk in any other class. Sometimes very strong themes. So I talk about counseling, but also about date rape. I also talk about smoking because I've seen an increase in smoking among our students, and everything that a generation ago we fought so hard to eliminate. They don't know what we went through. I talk about the feminist movement and how it was different from when I was growing up and now when they're growing up. I talk about drugs too, but also how to read, how to analyze, how to write, how to use AI. I think unsuccessfully, but we keep trying. Also about the university, Canvas, advisor, navigator. Have you seen your advisor? He or she hasn't written to me. Then you write, you go to make them feel that you have the power to ask. And also about how to deal with a Latino family and the stress of a Latino family, because families come first, and if they don't do it, they're going to have trouble. And there are things that no other group needs to know to learn about it, but this group definitely. And also, I put an effort to see them as, I don't know, I kind of take care of them. So I don't know if that's a Latino thing, but I'm a kind of like a big mama for them. And I tell them, I can be your mother.
So I am just grabbing Dr. Gina Garcia's list of liberating outcomes. So she's a researcher of Hispanic serving institutions, and she talks about sort of our typical measurements of student success, like, retention and grades and graduation. But she also talks about some non-academic measures of success that she feels are really important um, in becoming an HSI and becoming and serving all students and serving Latinx students specifically. And I'm gonna read the list to you because I think it fits for our conversation. So she talks about things like academic self-concept, social agency, racial identity, leadership identity, critical consciousness, social justice orientation, civic engagement, and graduate school aspirations. Now, I think some of this stuff, I mean, it's a lot if you're like, oh no, I have to take that all on, but hopefully they'll be getting it in all different parts of campus. But, I think in a lot of first year seminars, some of those things on the list might be covered, but probably not all of them. But I was wondering, as you think about your first year seminar is identity focused. When you hear that list and you think about your first year seminar, like what comes to mind?
Check, 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 check.
And I guess maybe also like kind of why do you think that's important? What caused you to want to run this kind of FYS and what does that look like?
Okay, so to be honest, I was asked to do it.
Mm,
When everything started, I was like, that's interesting. I wonder what will be interesting for the students. So I was thinking, but I didn't quite really, like, nothing clicked until Matthew wrote to me and he said, Michelle, I've seen all the topics and we're getting more and more Hispanic students. So I don't know if you feel that you can do a course. And I said, yes. So that's why the Si Se Puede came to mind, because we know that this is a group that has been represented in the classroom in
mm,
terms of topics. So that's why I started doing more and more and changed some of the courses even in our department to be more focused to this group. Um, they need to know where they come from. They need to know, how is it that you're valuable to this society and why. They need to understand all the stereotypes that have been brought on top of their heads without, they don't realize it. They think this is the way society is and that's it. But when you make them see that, this can be much more, and then I tell them, and you are good enough, because they all come with a little thing saying, I'm not good enough. They make life easier for me in high school. And I said, you can do more. You can always do more. And I always tell them, why don't you aspire to an A? Why are you happy with just passing? I said, I don't like that thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. I want you to keep going forward, forward, forward. So it's a lot to make them believe in themselves. So the course really is for them to see, hey, I'm okay. My family's okay. I can do things in this country. I am allowed and I can be successful. And it all comes together because at the end, many of them join the Lasso student club. At the end, they do more advocacy. They're more involved in the city, like in the polls. We're getting to get some students to participate in the polls. And they're getting their certificate of translation because they realize this is a good thing for us to have an extra skill and document it. And
mm,
I keep telling them, nobody thinks of graduate school. Why? Why? Why do you need only 4 years? And I keep telling them, the years they pass so quickly, in just in the blink of an eye. And right now it's like, oh, such a long time in school. Hey, it goes like this. And you're not in a hurry. So this is all my talk every time I'm teaching that class. Because they need it. They need it. And when you do the reflection papers and you ask them the discussion assignments in Canvas, you see them opening, opening, opening. At the beginning is everybody's a little bit scared. And unless you have a group, usually sometimes they come in groups. Um, After COVID, I think it's one of the questions I was thinking. After COVID, that first semester when they came to the classroom, so I said, okay, I paired them with somebody. Everybody was answering the questions alone, even if they
mm,
were part of the group. They didn't even, glance at the person. So it was like, oh my God, they has changed so drastically. So after 2 weeks, I said, no, 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 no. I want you talking. I want you looking at each other. I want you to talk first and then write. I'm pushing them, pushing them, pushing them to do this. But it takes a while. It's getting better now. It's getting better. And they know I like noise. I hate classrooms that are quiet. I just don't like them. It makes me feel like, no. So they know I like noise. And I tell them, I cannot hear you. Sometimes the questions are maybe a little bit embarrassing for them. And I say, I'm going to leave you. And I leave the classroom and go outside just to see if they start talking. When I hear the murmur, I said, okay, it worked. And then I come in again. I
One
tricked them. They don't know I tricked them.
one thing I hear in that I'm hearing like reflected in what you're saying a little bit is um this idea. Oh, I can never remember to cite this properly, but I feel like I've heard like Zaretta Hammond write about it. Is this idea? She writes culturally responsive teaching in the brain, but she talks about this idea of care and push, that they go together. And I think a lot of people who are writing equity-minded, culturally sustaining education, talk about the idea of relationships with students, and from that relationship of care it's also so important to give them all kinds of pushes. And that's what I hear is, don't stay where you are.
Mhm.
Um, Talking explicitly about graduate school. And the other thing that I'm just to pull out of what you're saying is, and that I think some people might not be familiar with, is that it sounds to me like some of the students haven't had the space to develop some of their social identities, or they're in the process of, but it certainly hasn't happened yet. And that they might have absorbed negative stereotypes about themselves without questioning them. And that they're walking around with these negative stereotypes, and that actually breaking them down and discussing them helps them understand themselves and their identity in a different way. Does that sound like it resonates with what you've
Yes,
noted?
definitely. So when we show the video or they see the video, Latinos Beyond Real, um, they're struck by, oh my goodness, this is still happening. And they come to the class, this is still happening, professor. It hasn't changed. I said, well, maybe in general it hasn't changed, but can we see some positive images? And Jane the Virgin, somebody said. I said, well, okay, that worked. But then they realized that they just have been drinking and eating all the stereotypes and they just assume it. And it bothers them when they realize, but this is awful. It's always us. I said, yep. So that is, documentaries are excellent. And
Mm,
people say, oh, they are just bored. No, 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 no. Not if they are focused in the student. If you
mhm.
know that they are going to react because they're part of what they're seeing, it just opens doors. It's incredible.